What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another Unreal Engine 5 game development live stream where we're back in our Deck Knight project, a game built from scratch, of course, using Unreal Engine 5, C++ blueprints, the gameplay ability system plugin, and all of that good stuff. So today we're gonna kind of go more high-level design focused. We're still gonna work in the editor, maybe, depending on how much time we have and how much time we kind of figure out what we want to do. So the goal today is to figure out how to do our active ability integration. So again, with our cards, we want these cards to grant these active abilities on the player bar. And so when you have ability equipped to that slot, we then activate it and then remove it. Hey Casper, how you doing? Thanks for popping in. Good evening to you as well. How are you doing? So yeah, let's just kind of recap what we need to do, because like I did it sort of for the crouch, so I should have like this fireball thing, and I don't know, I don't think I like the implementation of that. I don't think it's scalable, so I'm gonna have to look at fireball real quick. So that's our row handle, and then we get to here, and then we do GE evasive card, and then yeah, we have this gas grant ability override. So I don't know if that is how it should be done, or there should be just helper functions within this ability set to basically grant any ability. But also the fact that, you know, we maybe want some abilities to be duration based, others want to be kind of permanent until you use it, kind of thing. I'm not sure. You doing framework for skill granting? Did I hear correctly? Yeah, you did. So that's what we're going to be trying to do. Because, like, again, the fireball example works okay-ish, and we kind of look at the code for what we did, because it's been like a month since I had looked at it. The gameplay effect, components, right, and then grant ability override, and then essentially, yeah, we go through, and we grant ability, and then we get to here. So we basically add it to the input tag. So we're saying, hey, override it on this input tag. So essentially we have to take this line of code and scale it to our quote unquote ability bar. So we essentially grant it and then add this dynamic source tag. Because again, we're going to be working with, and then we'll have to look at our IMC. Gamepad, right? So we're going to have to do a cleanup of this. Like, there's gamepad ability cord that I think we'll need to do. They'll either be left trigger or something like that. But then we have ability 1, which is already a thing, which is the corded action. Ability 2, which is not a corded action. So we basically, I need to just kind of copy this from my own sanity. And we can add a snippet here, right? This is what we're gonna kind of be working with. And how I see it, like based on the UI mockup as well, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. 5 active ability slots and a sixth crouch bar. So I gotta figure out what makes sense. Because again, we do lose out gamepad wise. You know, we do use left and right trigger to navigate through these cards. So our active ability bar has to be maybe right bumper and face buttons. But then there's only 4 face buttons. And honestly, if we have if we have a blocking, I don't know, maybe it can be left bumper and then face buttons, and then left bumper, right bumper is the fifth one. So maybe there could be like dual purpose where you can block and also activate. I'm not too confident yet on that. But yeah, we are missing because we're having it integrated into the UI like this. We are losing out on gamepad functionality. So I think it would be better if it's right bumper plus face buttons and left bumper. So if you do both at the same time, you know, you can just activate the ability, not actually buffer. And I'm also curious if we would need a fifth one. You know what I mean? Maybe 4 is enough, and maybe having that constraint on the player makes more sense, so that if they have all 4 ability slots unlocked, then they can utilize it. Otherwise, they can only utilize 1 at a time. So let's actually work with that assumption. 4 ability slots, and then the 5th is the crouch slot. So let me notate that down. So, and on keyboard and mouse, obviously, you know, the world's your oyster. 1, 2, 3, 4 it could be your abilities. So 4 active ability slots plus 5th slot for evasive ability. And then we're going to say right bumper plus face buttons. So RB plus X. We'll just assume Xbox controls for the moment. So those are our ability slots. So what we need to do, let's make a pseudo list like this, right? So we'll keep the code snippet here, but this can be more of like a, you know, to-do checklist. So update IMC with proper ability cord input action on RB. Update IMC with proper triggers for face buttons. X, Y, B, A. Then we need to... We'll probably need to do some helper functions within maybe either a helper function blueprint library or within the ability system component itself. So helper function to find available the helper function to find available ability slot. Helper function to grant ability to available slot. What else would we possibly need? Most likely we need attributes to drive how many ability slots are available and max total, maybe? I don't know if it needs to be potentially attribute driven. It could be interesting. Maybe you can have a card that grants you an additional ability slot for some time. So maybe attributes would be the way to go. So attribute driven instantiation of UI to represent each ability slot. So helper function to Replace ability in permanent slot. So additional stuff would be, you know, ability types. So duration based. Duration based for the evasive ability slot. I don't know if I would ever want to have because with the evasive ability slot, I feel like that's always going to be duration based. I don't want to. I guess it could always be permanent, and you're always having to swap it out with something that you might like. Because I wonder if it's good. I wonder if it's just too OP for something like the fireball to be something that's like, okay, that's your permanent evasive ability just because it does deal damage. I feel like that's too strong. Unless we give it a cooldown. So it's like, okay, your evasive ability is a fireball, but it has a 2-second cooldown. So there could be like a cost to it in that sense, you know? But we'll put down everything here. So duration based ability is slotted for X seconds, and then permanent based ability is always there, and one use ability is granted, but can only be used once. I like the idea of the player being able to have multiple ability cards. So like, for example, say we have an active ability card that, you know, makes you, you know, punch the ground, sends a shockwave out or something, right? And say you have 3 of those in your deck. It could be interesting if you were to be able to, you know, slot the first one in, and then you also activate the next one, and instead of the card taking up another slot, it can stack onto that slot. So then you have charges of that ability. So you basically can stack it on top of each other. So you use it, and then instead of losing that ability, you lose a stack of it. You use it again, and things like that. So I think that could be cool. So one use stacked. So I feel like all abilities are going to have to be stacked in some way. So I'd have to figure out how to do that. We have some example. We did have some example of that with the dodges. So we'll have to just think about that for a bit. So ability is granted, can be activated X times before being removed. Also probably need a helper function for removing. We'll definitely need delegate callbacks for when a slot is granted an ability and when slot is and when an ability is removed from a slot. Probably a delegate callback when an ability is activated. Or callback, delegate callback for when an ability is activated in a slot. So UI updates, stack counter changes, feedback, etc. I'll have to figure out long-term, eventually I'm gonna have to figure out like maybe a little bit more about these rules. Where it's like, okay, is there an ability that can be granted for 30 seconds and have unlimited usage? You know, is that an option? Do I often write this kind of pseudocode? Not really. I usually just wing it, but I think this system is deep enough to at least make me want to write down some stuff. Just to get started. Yeah, just wing it, man. And we'll just kind of see how far it goes. But I think that's at the very least to get me motivated to get started on it. So let's start with the boring stuff, the input mapping context stuff. So we'll work right now only on gamepad. Just because it's a little more complicated. So let's first change our gameplay ability chord, or not. It's right shoulder, so I believe that's correct. So down, yes. So that should be correct. Now ability 1 is gamepad base button left. So pressed and chorded action, yes. I'll need to... let's just print some stuff out on screen just to confirm that things are being triggered as we'd expect. Do I still need that ability tick kind of thing? Not really. Okay. Let's move that for a sec. Maybe I can go into the base. Yeah, this is some stuff. I also still need to clean some of this stuff out. It's kind of ridiculous. Like getting the gate and stuff that could be in code probably. Let's not get sidetracked, right? So what's the ability here? Whoops. So IA ability 1. Put a print in. Should be able to just do that and just say, ability. So in theory, when I do right shoulder plus face button left, which is X on an Xbox controller, we should see something. Yes. So we got ability 1 on the top left. I know it's not very readable, but it's there. So next, ability slot 2. We should be able to copy these triggers. I really should connect to version control. I should probably update stuff. Incoming white screen in 3, 2, 1. Bang. Flashbang. There you go. Yeah, a lot of things I haven't submitted in a bit. Are these checked out now? Let's look at our uncontrol. Probably do the first one here. So gas course. Check out. Let's see how long that's going to take. Check out the whole thing and then revert unchanged files. Should grab everything that's different. Yeah, so let's go to the next one. So IA ability 2. Now let's speed run the rest before we start proving them one by one. I should be able to copy that. Ability 3. Looks to have the correct triggers, but sure. And then ability 4 doesn't look like it even exists. So let's add that. Do I even have the IA for it? Ability? No, I don't. Okay. Well, beans. Good opportunity to fix that. So ability 4. Pump and dump. It's going to be Y. Right? So, no, that's ability left, right? So, go. Let's move it in conjunction to the others. Be able to paste. Wonderbar, and I should, I should still be able to dodge, right? Yeah, and if I do this and this, yeah. So basically, my next issue, and I wonder if this will be something that's true. If I do X, X, right, and I do right bumper and then X, if there is no ability slotted there, do I not want you to be able to do something? And also, why is this blocked? But oh, this is blocked, okay. Yeah, so this is not blocked correctly anyway, for some reason. We'll have to see. But kind of just thinking out loud. If there is no ability slotted to that thing, do we want to be able to like block that input, you know what I mean? Like, so again, ability 01, I think there's this. As an example, it says consume lower priority, consume action access mappings. I don't know if unchecking that will do anything. So, I'm pressing X, and now right bumper X. Yeah, it still kind of eats it. I'm curious if it needs to live on potentially a separate layer. So every time I press right bumper, I add a new context with just these abilities on it. But let's first to these things, right? So IA ability 3. It's ability 3. I'm so curious why this works. So we'll look at that today too. But so far, this seems to be Gucci. We have our ability slot 1, 3, 4. Right bumper 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so 4 doesn't work. Oh, maybe it's because I didn't associate it with something. Or oh, there's probably two. Oh, there's 2 face button right. So this is left, top, and this has to be actually bottom. So yeah, there's that. But let's see now what the difference between these could be. Because like maybe... So let's look at jump, for example. It's bottom. It is on down. And melee light attack is on pressed. So maybe that's where the problem lies. Like if I do pressed on jump, right? And then I do left bumper, and now it's like that, yeah. So it seems that potentially they need to all be the same trigger type. So, but again, the problem will then be this is on down, right? And because it's on two different trigger types, it won't work. Value type bool, advanced, assume lower priority. I wonder if the hierarchy matters here. If I were to move heavy attack down, yeah, it's still there. But if I say, well, I wonder if that's intended behavior. I would have to like do more research on mappings, I think. So let's just group melee together. Because again, alternatively, right bumper can just inject a new IMC. Let's try that. Let's make a duplicate. So IMC underscore gas character active ability. Let's say active abilities for now. Let's take out everything but the abilities and the ability cord. No, the ability cord has to be in the other one. So bam, bam, bam. Light attack, no. No. So if we were to do that, and then, so just to confirm, get this out. So we don't need 1, 2, 4. But now we should not be able to use those abilities, right? So I do this and X, it's there. A, B, bam. So now, if I were to do ability cord. And for keyboard and mouse, that's where it would not be needed. Sorry, I'm seeing my kitty and she's cute. Oh, oh, she's so fluffy. I'm annoying her, sorry. If we do this and then we get the... What am I doing? I think I'm doing it similarly somewhere. Maybe I'm doing it in code. I should be able to get controller. Has to player controller. Get enhanced subsystem, and then it's going to be input mapping context. And forget the higher. So higher priority mappings will be applied first, and if they get submitted, will block lower input mapping. So in theory, I should be able to do something like this. This is active abilities, right? So let's actually hook that up first. And this will be 1. Make first immediately. And then we can just say canceled and completed. We will first check to see has mapping. The same one. Branch. Then remove mapping context. Same options, I think. Okay. Let's see if this gets me better results. So I'm attacking, yay yay. I press right bumper. I am still attacking. So am I even getting this callback? I'm gonna press right bumper. Cool. Thanks for the subscription there from YouTube, much appreciated. Okay, so we are adding abilities. Let's go into code. Maybe my priority is wrong. Should be happening in the character. So let's take a look. Player character, probably mapping context. So we are putting it at priority 0. And this is happening on possessed by. So I can't remember, like, is priority literally that number? So higher priorities will be applied first. And if to input will block lower priority mapping. So don't know. There's no enhanced input debug here, right? Enhanced input, show debug enhanced input. Awesome. Oh, I forgot how bad this is. Okay. So yeah, we have this, and then I'm going to do this. And now we have, so it is set to true. It's not really showing green. Why? Let's find out, I guess. Does it have to be set to say, so consume? Or is it just because it's lesser priority? Alright, let's... That's keyboard and mouse. Let's make the priority here 1. And we'll keep this one 0. Let's do a reload. Hey Trey, yo, what's up? Thanks for popping in. How you doing tonight? We're working a little bit with input mapping today, enhanced input. Trying to make sure we get our controls straight for our abilities here. Doing pretty good, learning about some blend spaces and blend multi-poses. That sounds fun. Blend spaces are always cool. Is it just locomotion blend spaces, or is it like aim offsets for anything, or a little bit of both? Just locomotion. Gotcha. Okay, cool, cool. Yeah, I always suck with locomotion stuff. Like, I understand it, but, you know, always trying to make something from scratch with it is so difficult. And knowing what needs animations, what doesn't, you know, how to kind of integrate it with input and stuff like that. It'd be tough. Okay. Oh, let's see if we got this right this time. So I do this. Yeah, still wrong. I wonder if, because the chorded lives in a separate thing, then I don't need it. Let's see. Let's test it out. Oh, still wrong. Yeah, it says it's being overridden by by the melee attack one, so this seems not like the way. Let's try that again. Yeah, I'm not sure what I want to focus on learning in UE, but I'm kind of learning a little bit of everything. Yeah, that doesn't hurt, you know. Being familiar with a bunch of its systems will probably help you in the long run, I'd say. And the tricky thing too with Unreal is like they're always changing stuff around. Like, you know, they're getting rid of animation blueprints soon. I won't say get rid of, but they're going to probably be deprecating it for the Unreal Animation Framework. So that's a whole other different way of thinking and doing stuff, which is, you know, it sucks, but, you know, technology's got to evolve. So you got to learn some new stuff too. Because like, I think eventually you're going to introduce, what's that scripting language? Verse from UEFN. So they'll probably introduce Verse. I don't think they'll deprecate blueprints, but Verse will just be an added layer with some benefits or something like that. Yeah, you should definitely take a look at the Unreal Animation Framework. It's stuff that we're using at CDPR. We're trying to integrate into the project now. We used it for the tech demo, but now we're doing it for real reels. Alright, so let's look again. So I'm doing this. Okay, now it works. Yeah, for The Witcher. Okay. So that worked, but what am I doing that made that work? Is it just the consume? I should plug my book in right now? No. I don't even know what book. Oh yeah, the Unreal Engine Framework project game. Yeah. I'll have to go back and watch that now that I have a little more knowledge and understand it more. Yeah, what they're doing is bonkers. Oops. Yeah, so now I don't actually need the recorded action in here because it's already happening. So I should be able to get away with doing something like this. In theory now, I should be able to do this. Yes, so now it's like a full override. Go 1, 2, 3, 4. Seems good. Quote unquote, seems good. So now, I can get rid of this. I'll have to keep this. That I can get rid of. But I do wonder. So for the ability cord, do I need it to be like all the way down for it to work? Do you think? Probably. But yeah, I'm not printing anything anymore, but that seems valid. Well, now Streamlabs is now promoting the book. So, thank you AI or whatever. So now we have everything kind of hooked in. So now the next part of the fun is I will need to, because there is it's not an ability set, it's IC player, right? So this is what tags things into native ability actions, which I want to keep, right? So native action ability 1, ability 2, ability 3, but then I need to do ability 4. So this requires some code. Oh yeah. You're definitely right. That's exactly what happened. So yeah, let's go into we gotta go to the input tags. So I think it's under gameplay abilities here. Here we go. So input tag ability 4. Gotta go into the C++. Define this bish. So let's put it at that. It's gonna be up here. We can grab. So yeah, equipment slot stuff. I don't know if that's ever gonna be. Like, I don't know what's needed anymore. I don't know what a sign slot is really gonna do. And then there's magic stance and block stance. I don't think that's gonna ever be a thing. I assume I will need to do confirm targeting and cancel targeting. So I'll need to also do another IMC probably for those things. So for certain abilities, if I needed to have like a confirm option, or if it's just, pressing the ability button again, maybe that's enough. But that should be okay for now. Yeah, there's also primary weapon fire and point and click movement. I don't know if I'll ever need those things. One of these days we'll do like a spring cleaning stream and we'll remove stuff and see how much of the game we break. But now once we add that to our IC, we then have our hook that we need. But then we now need to go into, I believe, the ability set. And the ability set can't grant anything by default at that point. And then from there, we basically need to figure out how to hook things into, maybe like, excuse me, like I'm trying to think if we would ever have the use case, for example, of like, say you only have one ability slot unlocked out of 4, right? Would I ever want to have a card that temporarily unlocks you an ability slot? Does that card then become not usable after you have unlocked all the slots? And is that okay that it's like a card that you would use only in early game and not end game? Because if you already have all 4 slots activated, I don't really want to have it create a new imaginary slot. But now that we have all this stuff, we could also introduce a 5th slot. A 5th slot has hit the building. So let's add 5 because fuck it. Why not? I like the idea of 5. 5 is a cool number. So it's not the cards in your hand that I'm referring to. I'm referring to the available slots that you have in your ability bar that you can activate cards into. So when you play a card and it's an active ability card, playing that card adds it to the ability bar, then you can then execute it whenever you want. But in terms of the cards in hand, that's also something that will be variable. Yeah, don't worry about not paying attention. Do your thing. I'm cool with being background noise. But yeah, I'm thinking maybe like there is going to be a limit about the number of cards that you can have in your hand at one time. Just because, one, after a while, it's going to be just too much cognitive overload. I would like to see progression there. Like the number of cards in your deck as one, the number of cards you can have at once in your hand another. Like there will probably be cases where your max capacity of cards in hand is 5, but then you play a card that gives you 2. So then your card hand temporarily extends to 7, and then we'll have to figure out how that resolves. You know what I mean? But a different problem for a different day. It's like, for example, like here, like here's what 4 cards looks like, and then like here's a bunch of cards, right? Like, does that seem manageable? I don't know. And then, yeah, I'll have to figure out how to keep certain cards in the right position. And again, down to making the cards readable at a first glance kind of thing. Kind of knowing what's in your hand. Trying to create space. Trying to find the right opportunity to play it. So you'll be gated as well with the number of card resources that you have. So you'll kind of have to keep some stuff in the back of your head. Quite a lot to think about. Which I'm still concerned about, but we'll see. So ability 5, wham bam. So ability 5 is going to be left shoulder, trigger, crest. And then under our IC, we need to add that. So we have jump, which I don't know if we want jump at all. Magic stance, not a thing anymore. Ranged attack, not a thing anymore. Block, yes. I want to try to figure out a way. Like I saw some ideas that I want to do, like for block and shield and stuff like that. Because like in general, I want there to be some sort of builder spender resource that's going on externally from the card resource, where as you're doing melee attacks or doing something, evading, dodge, probably just primarily doing attacks, you're building up some resource that you can then do this move with. Like you can do some big AoE, or maybe there's just like some charge thing that turns into like a projectile. But additionally, that resource can be used for like your shield. So when you're blocking, there could be like a bubble shield or something that absorbs like hits, and it drains that resource as you're taking hits. And then once that's out, any hits you take while blocking will still block most of the damage, but it'll just mitigate the damage in some way. And I think that could be interesting, that you have a shared resource for additional offensive and defensive capabilities, so you have to balance that. And then we could have cards that you can activate that fill up this resource, or it's kind of like how some modern fighting games have a guard bar. Kind of, yeah, a guard bar that's used for offensive and defensive abilities. And I can imagine cool card integrations with it, where you play an instant card that fills up the guard bar, or a passive card you can play that increases it, passively at a certain rate for a certain number of times, so you can kind of use cards to fuel that loop. So I think there's potential there. I'll have to. I already wrote, like, dude, sometimes like I have notes on my phone, like in that note app, but like a lot of the time I'm just writing myself Facebook messages to myself. That's how I track some of this shit. So don't judge me with that. And I'm also debating if I still need jump and jump attacks. Can I get away with A being the card selecting button? Is there a purpose? You made a whole Discord for your projects. That's pretty smart. Yeah, some issues there, whatever. Okay, so we have that. We got rid of some of the stuff we don't need, but let's expand these bad boys. So ability 1, 2, 3, and we gotta add 4. So we have light attack and heavy attack. I should probably scope this variable. 4. And one more. 3.5, right? So that's so ability movement. I don't know what that's referring to. What is ability.movement? Is this referenced anywhere? Dates and keyboard mouse. What is this? We're doing spring cleaning a little early, so it's spacebar. So that's the jump. Hell no. We don't need that. Get the heck out of here. Let's just do ourselves the favor. Like, this is kind of messy. So evade is good, jump is jump, block is block, ability 4 or 5, right? Let me just move ability 4 and 5 to the appropriate location. Where did ability 4 go? Oh no, here. So that's good. Let's also go into code and nuke out movement ability. That I think, and we probably don't need stance magic. And point and click movement. Fuck off. Yeah, this game used to be point and click, honestly. That's where things started, you know what I mean? Stance. Toggle stance, probably something we don't need either. Magic. Okay. All seems relatively fine. Yeah, light attack is equipment ability 1 and 2. Don't like that, but that's just probably how it's gonna have to be for now. But yeah, let's go into our elf ability set. Or just, what is it? AS underscore character base. So yeah, this is where we're granting initial abilities. So equipment ability 1 under ranged. Oh my god. Let's get rid of ranged. Is that written anywhere? That is bye. What is GA example? Is this like the throwing one? Yeah, it is. Probably would want to keep that, but that's something for a different day. Yeah, bye. So we got jump, dodge, block, and GA cleanse, which is not a thing. So yeah, that should be our base abilities, right? For our activatable abilities. So let me go into project settings. Should be clean up unused tags. So let's see. I know I can get rid of test. Range, not look. Didn't really need stance switching at the moment. data duration. A lot of this stuff could be used in code, so I'll just remove those. Awesome. So now, we really shouldn't see any change in behaviors. So we should be still good. So we're an hour in. We managed to accomplish some stuff, but let us now. I do want to revisit the, what's that thing called? Nameplate. Like, to me, for this nameplate, I feel like the health bar does need to be thicker, because like based on our mock-ups we made, it is bigger. I kind of want to get the sense of scale. You know, having something maybe down here, potentially getting rid of the character portrait. We'll have to see if that's something we want to end up doing. Because there's ways we can make it potentially work. So here's our health bar. So we need to, yeah, thank you. We went through a couple different kind of mock-up stages, and then I also asked AI to take my mock-up examples and just try to do stuff with it, get some ideas here on how it could be laid out. This was like a kind of promising one that we ended up kind of aiming for. Yeah, I suck at UI. There's a lot of things I suck at, so we're hopefully going to learn. So in theory, how would I go about making this bigger? Do I literally just... It is a size to content situation. So with this, it's desired. And this is size to content. Doing that. And then this. If I were to make the player health just in general, let's take out stamina for now, right? And let me say now. Yeah, now health is a tiny little boy. This is desired on screen. Music stopped. And I say fill screen. Do custom. That changed nothing. Let's fill screen. Custom. Desired. And then here. Sizing the content doesn't do much. So in theory, I can do something like that. Now my health bar is kind of big. Extending it down does work. A health bar that kind of looks like what we're going for. Yeah, we'll probably want to move the text. Overlay. Center. Maybe bigger. Nope. I feel like that got way too big. Maybe it doesn't need an outline. Okay. I think still too big. 16. Well, I don't know if I don't have any other fonts, so for now it's okay. Am I giving it skew? Or is it italicized? It is bold. Show only modified properties. Is that just what the text looks like? Ah, skew amount. I'm literally looking at it. Does this thing scale with the text size? It does. Okay. Maybe 18 is good. Maybe it's too long. So 400 is good by 80. So it's not even adjusting based on that. Cool. Oh, 400 by 80. Oof. 400. Not even close. 650. Maybe I'm just overlaying this incorrectly. Like I'm getting somewhere, but no. Oh. This I can just move around freely. This, not so much. So I feel like I need to move this thing out. And just do something potentially like that, right? Can I just keep them individual? Keep grabbing wrong thing. Am I legally allowed to do this? Yes. Like, maybe that's okay. But to me, it always looks wrong. So, like, I like the idea of this one. We got feedback that potentially we don't want to have the health up there. Like, having a full separation of everything. To me, it might be a little bit congested in the corners. Because maybe the passives could be up here. Where you kind of just see all your passives on some bar on top. Not too much of a fan. Style. That do not look good. Yeah, no, I just don't know what I don't like about this. You know what I mean? I don't even know which one I'm really going off of, which mock-up. Like, I'm looking at either 7, where we remove entirely the character profile, or we go with the character profile and then we have something like this. So like 2 and 7. We got a kitty walking around here. 7 is clean. Okay, so we're kind of opting for removing the character profile, which I'm okay with. We can try it. It's not like we're losing it entirely. It's its own little encapsulated thing. So we could just go boop. And then, you know, this here. This like here. And then we have this lifesteal container, which I don't know what it's gonna look like. Yeah, I mean, that doesn't look too bad. But let me look at the lifesteal container in its own. What makes you want to keep the profile picture? That's the thing. I don't know what does. Like, I thought it would just be cool to have a representation of your character, but maybe that doesn't matter. Like, saying it out loud, probably, yeah, I don't need it. And my lifesteal, so shape, location, box, plane. I wonder if I can pass in this range. But maybe, let's make it minus 100 and 100. I don't think it's too important unless you have different characters planned for the game. You're already looking at the character during gameplay. Yeah, like my idea was to have different types of characters, but at this stage, I don't know. And I think I should just work with what I do know. So that does work how I want it to. Probably minus 250 is good. So 250. I'll probably want to feed that information though, into the lifesteal container. Because like in theory, how big is this thing, right? It's 600, right? So minus 300 to 300 does make sense. But yeah, I think that looks good. So we'll continue looking at 7. So essentially, we're gonna get rid of like these circles, right? Like I don't know. Potentially, it could still work. I'm not sure. Can I make this read from new emitter parameter, read from new user parameter? Where did that go? Oh, it's called user offset. So I'm going to call this Make this a new user parameter. Minimum. I get rid of just this one. Yeah, minimum and then maximum. Do these have default values? I don't know. But let's just check if that broke anything. Did I not die? Oh. I guess because I'm reaching 0 and then getting healed for 2, it doesn't reach 0. So that's another bug. But yeah, I like the behavior of this. Could probably be more prominent. I'm so fucking scatterbrained. I'm looking at this again. But it's fine. So we have burst. So we have this. So we have scale. State, scale. Should be sizes, right? Lifetime. Yeah, sprite size. So maybe like 20 to 40 or something. Would look better. So I go like bam, 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 bam. I don't know if that's too distracting. Like I think that's okay. But again, if that behavior's happening, will there be overlap with what the ability bar is doing? Like I want it to be readable. Having this draw over that isn't great. I got one. This will probably be too distracting too. But to make it like the whole screen, you know, lifesteal, or where is it? Lifesteal. And then, you know, it's just happening in the middle of the screen, you know? I wonder if that's too much, or if that makes more sense. It's still visible, hold on. Not sure why I can't make that, why that's not editable, but oh, it's because it's locked. I'd just do it on the health bar. Yeah. Yeah, you're probably right. Worth a thought. Oh, I just deleted the hand. Why steal it? If that's gonna be happening, that's where I get nervous about the ability bar. Sorry, I'm getting distracted by my kitty. She's so cute. Give me a second. Anyhow, I got head to work. Take it easy. Yeah, take it easy yourself. Enjoy the rest of your day. Thanks for popping in. I appreciate it. And I wonder if I should move this back up here. So it's up there. Because, yeah, a lot of examples that we have. I think we pulled some. Like, you got Megabonk, which is up there. But then you have Hades down here. This game down here, which, you know, is a huge inspiration. Maybe it can work down here. How does this work? So again, maybe I'm overthinking it at the moment. Let me... Lifesteal. Do something like that, but let me look at card energy. Needs a certain size. Can I do 50 by 50 or something? Maybe too big. $42. Can I size it? Seems okay. Does that play well with the attributes here? It does. That seems okay. Probably can we move down a little bit more. This could be probably adjusted for inflation. That could work. Then nameplate Lifesteal. Listed. For now, maybe that's fine. Now we would just have to start. And I guess that's also a problem, the way they shoot up after they get a new one. Which, yeah, for now, I think it's good. But like, we'll have to probably adjust how we're displaying this information again. So maybe it could be all separated, and then, like, for example, got a key looking so cute. You know, in our main HUD UI, we have card. Is there energy? The card energy could be like here or some shit. Like, obviously, maybe it needs to be like vertical or something, but maybe having it like here makes more sense. So, like, we would have to, I think we would have to make 2 versions of this. Maybe one that is scaling upwards. And the other that's scaling the other way. Because in theory, could call this, you know, vertical. Call this vertical. So this one is an energy bar that goes from, I guess this could still be filling up the same way. So maybe I don't need this one as a vertical. This one could be, can I replace with a vertical bar or vertical box? Can I refresh this? Probably the padding needs to be on the top. Should be fresh. 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 Bing, bang, boom. Hopefully. Now, main game UI. Put vertical. I'll just put it into the top corner and just look at it. No. Essentially, it's going to be drawn like this. Right, and that looks fucked up. We could have it draw like that. Still didn't work. Oh, did I do the wrong one? I did the wrong one. Thank you. Oh, you are. So, you know, doesn't look perfect, but better than nothing. But now, we need to change the order of it, right? So let's find add to vertical. I think we just need to. Can we change? Is there a way to position it correctly, like in which order? Let's look it up. Maybe I could mirror the Y scale, so make it -1. Oops, not that scale. Almost. That almost worked. He is awake. It's cute. Oh. Can I scale just the container? Yes? No. Oh, I made it 0. -1. That's the overlay. 1. Container is -1. Okay, in theory that kind of worked. I would just need it to fill the opposite as well. Which I wonder... Can I set scale? Set transform. What can I do? Is there anything I can do for like render transform? That could work. We'll find out. Yeah. That kind of worked. Background scale needs to be 1 again. And yeah, there you go. Looks better. Not better, but it should work. So you have your card resources on the right. Yeah, like again, I don't know. Not sure. But maybe having them next to the cards is good. And like away from the health bar. And maybe in general, the card scale can go down. Like 0.3. Maybe something like that. 0.35 or 0.375. Knew that could work. So it's not as prominent, maybe that's enough. And then maybe these circles can be bigger. Maybe we could bring them up to 50 now. Can I scale it like that and it'll look okay? That don't look good, but for now I think that works. So now I could probably bring the health bar down a bit. So what happens though with the gameplay attributes? Kind of shoot out the sides. Well, they shoot up on top. So definitely need to rethink that, I think. But for now, I think it's fine. Just need to make space for that ability bar. Which I do now. Card energy can just be on the right hand side for now. And we'll refactor it and change it. That could be like the last thing we need to care about. Okay, so that's where I'm going to leave it off for today. We got a lot done. You know, we still have a lot of questions, a lot of things to still figure out. But hopefully we can learn over time how to properly do this UI. But until then, enjoy the rest of your day. Have a good night. Have a good week. We won't stream on Thursday, unfortunately. Got other plans. So we might not be back on until either Sunday or next Tuesday. So be safe, and I'll see you soon.